Hi, my name's Charlie King. I'm with Heroic Fatherhood, and welcome to your Mentor's Moment. In today's question, a dad asks, how do you guys deal with having an over-competitive child? Ooh, excellent question. I know this story really well, and I know there are a lot of dads that really resonate with it as well. The bottom line is we live in this hyper-connective society, in a hyper-connective world. That's just the way it is. If you live in the States, you know that between school and sports and work and lifestyle, it all can feel like a keeping up with the Joneses kind of life, where you're constantly comparing yourself to other people, where you're constantly comparing the stories other people have about their lives. Your kids are no different. If they're at all exposed to social media, that's a big deal, but they don't have to be exposed to social media. They can just go to school and see the kids around them, the ones who are bragging about where they're going on vacation, or look at the newest toy that my parents bought me, or look at the cool thing I got, or look how much better I'm doing than everyone else. In grades, in sports, in activities abound. Now, here's the thing. Being competitive can have a huge value. Right? Like it can inspire you to perform and train at your highest. You may get up earlier than everyone else. You may train harder than everyone else. You may study harder. It may get you the goal of whatever that goal is, whether you want top grade or fastest time or most money, whatever that goal is. But competitiveness, for the nature of competitiveness, is a lonely, lonely game you cannot win because you end up competing against yourself. And when you compete against yourself, the only loser is you. And it's really important to start breaking this story apart for our kids, especially for our boys, and fathers are in a perfect place to do that. See, here's the deal. When we have a goal and we're competitive about it, that's fantastic. But when we're constantly competitive about everything that we do, we rarely give ourselves a break. The costs of being competitive are huge. If you're competitive everywhere, you have a tendency to push people away. You push away people who aren't doing as well. You push away people who are doing better than you are, and you try and outperform the people who are doing exactly the same level as you. It is an isolating game that can be a lot of no fun to be around for a lot of people. Now, being competitive, doing your best is super important, but it's also important to share with our kids that it has this tendency to push others away. And if they haven't found out before, they're gonna find out in a kind of painful way one day when they inadvertently push close friends away and the friends go away. So this is super important to recognize that sometimes we're competitive and we don't perform to the level that we want, and that's okay, because all we had to do was do our best that day. And we're not gonna be the number one person today, and they've got a different life than we have, or a different lifestyle, or a different body type, or a different, way of thinking, or that's just who they are in the world. And then there are days that we are gonna be competitive, and when we get to celebrate those days, but not at the expense of being all alone doing it and pushing other people away. And where I think we get into trouble is that we have expectations that often are unrealistic. They're beyond what we think we can do. It's like, I'm gonna be an Olympic athlete at age 12, or I've never been in sales before, but I'm gonna kill sales. I'm gonna be the number one person in my office this year, and I've never done it before. Some people can do that, but is that a stretch goal? Which wouldn't be a bad thing, but is that an unrealistic goal? Or is that a goal that is just a recipe for disaster? So part of us is really just sort of sharing with them what the nature of hyper-competitiveness is. And if you were a kid, you remember it. As a human being, you know about being competitive. And we want to share that with them, our stories about our experiences with competitiveness and how important it is to be gracious when you win and gracious when you lose, right? Acknowledging the team members who are around you who, without going to practice, wouldn't have been there to practice with you, whether they succeeded or not. And to be gracious with the winners and congratulate them and tell them what a great job they did and you hope to beat them next time. Because there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with wanting to do your best and be your best. But remembering to be gracious and having a big heart, that's super critical and will serve them endlessly and keep them connected to the kids around them and actually set them up as leaders on their team or in their group. This has been a great question. Thank you so much for asking. And if you have experienced competitiveness, if you're competitive by nature, if you're anti-competitive by nature, how would you have answered this dad's question? Put it in the comments down below and ask any questions you have as well. And if you like this video, make sure to go check out our other videos. They're over there on YouTube. And remember, I want you to remember, this is really key, is we become better men by spending time with good men. My name's Charlie King. This has been Heroic Fatherhood's Mentor's Moment. Have a great day.